Hi, here are these worksheets that I've given out to you. Remember, even if you're in third period at opponents, you need to still try them again because some of us have not answered everything. So, yeah. So this is the first page. Duration of musical sounds is indicated by different types of notes. These indicate how long or short the note is. So each of these is not saying higher or lower, it's saying how long it's going to be. And remember, we say that in beats, not seconds. So the beat can be that steady beat. It can be like that. Quarter note gets 1 beat, half note gets 2, whole note gets 4. If you look at the differences between those, we have the quarter that we're used to. Half note is like a quarter but not colored in. Whole note has a thicker outline and has no stem or line coming up from it. The next bit tells you about how different amounts of whole notes relate to each other. So like we think whole as in the whole of the entirety of something. It takes up a whole measure of 4/4, which means 4 beats. Half note takes half a measure, quarter note takes quarter of a measure. Some people that helps. Some people might be going, oh my gosh, I'm confused, and worry more about the 1, 2, 3, 4 stuff. So that's the time signature. Knowing the top number gives you 4 beats is a great thing to know. Bottom number shows you what kind of note will get 1 beat. So they're saying there's 4 quarter notes in each measure. That 4 is related to the fractional version of quarter. A quarter of something is 1/4. So it says clap the rhythm of the notes while counting the beats out loud. Older students, I don't necessarily need you to clap. I like clapping, but I more like the way that you think about how the notes are connected. For example, when I say 1, 2, 3, 4, those notes are not connected. So I don't say them connectedly. That's not a word. But 1, 2, 3, 4, those are connected. So I connected with my voice, the 1 and 2, 1, 2. I connected with my voice, the 3 and 4, 3, 4, like that. The whole note 1, 2, 3, 4 sounds different than the next 4 quarter notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then 1, 2, 3, 4 is the second to last measure. And then the last measure again is 1, 2, 3, 4. So it says number 2, write the 4/4 time signature. So write those numbers in place. And then write the beat below the notes indicated. Then clap the rhythm while counting the beats out loud. I'm fine with you writing the numbers and then saying it quietly to yourself. It should kind of look like number 1. It should be related to it, but it won't be exactly the same because the different rhythms, the different durations are in different orders. Number 3 is similar. It says write the 4/4 time signature after the clef sign, which is that bass clef. I know I haven't taught you bass clef yet, but I like to do rhythm first before I start into the clefs. Write the beat below the notes indicated, then draw the missing bar line. So if there's 4 beats in a measure, so this is going to be 1. This one's going to be 2. It's going to try to redraw it. Look at that. Oh, no, that's fine. The 3 and the 4 go with that half note. It's hard. These computer programs are not nice. Should have done this on an iPad or something. Anyways, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. And then it wants you to draw a line. That's the bar line that separates the measures. I should draw my 4/4 in here. That's an ugly 4. 4, 4. Anyways, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then over here, I also need to draw my 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'll need to draw another bar line. Then use your knowledge of the 1, 2, 3, 4 stuff to draw another bar line. It's not 4 symbols, it's 4 beats. So you might have to look back up here and go, oh, the half note is 2 beats. Oh, the whole note is 4 beats. Stuff like that. Rests and stems. So rests are the opposites of notes, obviously, and when they have the same first name, they are the same length. So quarter rest was 1 beat, quarter note 1 beat, half rest 2 beats, half rest 1 beat, whole rest 4 beats, whole note, 4 beats. There's no really easy way to remember the quarter rest, but I like to think of the half rest looking like a hat. Whole rest, you can just think of that as the opposite of the hat. There are the counts, how you write them in for those different types of rest. Yes, telling the difference between a whole rest and a half rest can be tricky. When you draw the stems on the quarter and half notes, it talks about if the notes are above the third line, the stems go down and they're on the left. If notes are below the middle line, the stems are on the right and they go upward. All right, number 1, practice drawing quarter rests over the dotted lines. They don't have to look perfect. Make them look approximate. Here are the quarter rests. Trace 4, draw 4. Draw 2 half rests in each of the first measures. Around here is the half rests. Copy those. Then it says draw a whole rest in each of the 2 last measures. Over here on the left, you should do 1 whole rest right here and 1 whole rest right there. Write the counts below the rest. So remember, quarter notes are going to get 1 beat, but it's not going to be 1, 1, 1, 1. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. The next one, half rest. 1, 2 for the first one because it's 2 beats. The second one is not going to be 1, 2 again. We have to keep going through that 4 beats per measure thing. So the first one will get 1 and 2, 2 numbers. Second one, this one right here. Oops, that's not what I was going for. This one right here, look at my mouse. That will also get 2 numbers, but it'll be 3 and 4. This one will get 4 numbers. 1, 2. This one will get 2 numbers. Think about what's next. So try your best. Nobody's perfect. It wants you to write the counts below. So the 1, 2, 3, 4. And then it wants you to add the missing bar line. So this is the same as the other page, except for you're going to have to number the rests and the notes. So this first one, I get my cursor back up. We have the 1 and the 2. That's ugly. 2, 3, 4. Then there's going to be a line. Okay, what rest is that? Let me go look. Is it the one that kind of sticks above the third line or below the fourth? It looks like the one below the fourth. Let me double check. Yes, this one is the one that's below the fourth line. So that's the whole rest. So now I know that that's 4 beats. So I need to write 1, 2. Yeah, I can't draw well on things. 1, 2, 3, 4, just for this one rest. Wow. And then I'm going to draw another line. Then I keep going. Now notice I'm writing the answers under some of these. If you're not writing the answers, eek. Try to do better. Draw the appropriate stems on the following note heads. So the note head is the circle. The stem is the line. Remember, there's a rule about above the third line or below the third line. If it's on the third line, it can be either or, technically. So this one's going to go up because it's below the third line. That's ugly. This one could go up or down, so it could be this, or it could be that. This one has to go up. It's below the third line. This one has to go down. It's above the third line. Remember, up on the right, down on the left. 8th notes. So here they're showing you the 8th notes that are connected and the 8th notes that are separate. Remember, the ones with a flag, learning how to perform them sometimes can be tricky. Tend to do the ones that are connected first. It's the value of half of a beat. So that's the reason why we can kind of fit 2 of them into 1 beat. It uses that plus symbol. You could also write and. You could write an ampersand, the fancy and sign that's on the keyboard, Shift 7. I'm fine with a plus sign. Simplify it. Here, clap the rhythm of the notes while counting the beats out loud. I'm okay with just saying the numbers for you guys. We have remembering that if the beat's here, that's where the number's going to land. That's the 1, 2, 3, 4. If I have an and, it's going to fit in between numbers. So the first measure, 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Second measure, 1 and 2, 3, 4, and. Third measure, 1, 2, 3. Oh, my bad. Third measure, 1, 2, and 3, 4, and. Last measure, 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Yes, in that last measure, that's the last measure. Oh, yeah, oops. The measure is the space between the numbers and the first line. That's the first measure. Right there. This is the second measure. Third measure. Fourth measure. So it's the space in between the lines. This last measure, these eighth notes right here, they are still the same kind of eighth notes as before. They're just connected in groups of 4. And the half rest is going to be 3, 4 connected. I will complete the rest of this video later.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
Okay. Number 2, write in the beats below notes indicated, then clap the rhythm while counting the beats out loud. This one is in a different time signature, so let me give a rough explanation of time signatures. 4/4 means 4 quarter notes in a measure. That means between the time signature and the first line are going to be 4 beats. It also means between the first line and the second line, 4 beats, etc., and etc. That's why we can't say 4 notes, we have to say 4 beats. When it comes to 3/4, we're going to have 3 quarter notes in each measure. So I think I kind of said this a couple of times, but I haven't really explained it. It'll be more like a 1 and 2 and 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, something like that. The time signature in the first line is 3 beats, 3 beats, 3 beats. And then this note by itself is 3 beats. So when we get over here, hint, hint, 1, 2, 3 will go underneath there. So the 3 on top is telling you how many beats are in the measure. The 4 is telling you that they're 3 quarter notes. So we're going to have 1 and 2 and 3. We get to this bar line, we have to restart our numbers. 1, 2, 3, and. We get to this bar line, this one, we have to restart our numbers. And then you can finish off the other ones. So that kind of helps you know with the counting. Again, 3 beats per measure on that one. And when you get to a bar line, you restart your numbers. When again, this one's going to be 3, 4. So you'll write your 3, 4. That's ugly underneath there. And then you'll need to write in your numbers. That half note's going to be 1, 2. Here will be 3 and. So don't think 1, 2, and. This one gets 2 beats, so it gets the number 1 and the number 2, and then 3 and. And then you can continue the rest. Here, we're in 4/4, so we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4 line. It might be 1, 2, 3, 4 and line, but it's always going to be up to 4 because we're in 4/4. I will tell you this one is 1, 2, 3. I have not taught you that one yet. I do the worksheets out of order sometimes. So if I do them out of order, I need to give you the answer. That one's dotted half note. It's 3 beats. You don't need to memorize that yet. No. Eighth rest. It's a little squiggly looking thing. That's the best way to put it. It is the same amount as an eighth note. Remember, if they have the same first name, it's the same length. 1/8 note is a half of a beat. Think 1/4 divided by 2 is 1/8. 2/8 simplify or fit into 1/4. Same with the notes. Remember 4th quarter. So over here we have the 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. This one would be 1, 2, 3, and 4. Learning eighth notes is great. It's not always the easiest thing to do, but I want you to give it a try. Right, number 1. Clapping the rhythm of the notes while counting the beats out loud. So you're going to notice that the quarter notes kind of sound like a single eighth note, but you have to make sure they're short enough. Like if it was 1, 2, and 3, and 4, that's going to be different than what's at the beginning of number 1. Number 1, first measure. Let me make sure I draw on it so you know what I'm talking about. First measure, 1, 2, and 3, and 4. If it was 1, 2, and 3, and 4, then that would be quarter notes in place of these little quarter note, quarter rest looking thing. Here, measure 2. This one sounds like this. 1 and 4 and. So 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and. That was a little trickier. When we have the single eighth note on an and, that's the reason why I don't teach them at first. They're tricky. So there it is. Measure 3, right here. And 3 and. You hear my foot? And 3 and. All these off beats, these ands, give it kind of a different flavor. We call it syncopated. It's very common in a lot of the music you actually listen to. Last measure, that is wrong. This is not right. That's fun. Thanks, worksheets. This right here should be a 1. Oops, that's a curvy line. Try it again. This right here should be 1. So 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. I didn't make these worksheets. Not my fault. Make sure you use the number 1 as a model for number 2. So if you see something that's single eighth note and then an eighth rest, like this here at the beginning, it's going to be number and then an and on the rest. But if you get over here, like 1, 2, and here we have a rest and then a single eighth note. The rest is going to get the 3, and the eighth note is going to get the and then 4. It's really hard to draw this, man. So that second measure where I just wrote where the red is, 1, 2, and 4. 1, 2, and 4, like that. Ooh, another time signature, 2, 4, 2 quarter notes in each measure, right here. 2 quarter notes in each measure. So it'll be 1, 2, and 1, 2, and we get to a line. We start over our numbers. 1, the rest gets the 2, the note gets the and. Why didn't I write my numbers here? 1, 2. 1, 2, and 1, and 1, 2, and 1, and. Try the rest of them on your own. Once again, if I'm giving you the answers, it should be right on your paper. I'll try to post this on Classroom if you want to pull it back up or something like that. Write in the counts and then missing bar lines. So this is where you're going to have to make sure that you figure out where your ands, where it's, the 4 and the 3 and the 2 and are working out, because you want to make sure that each thing gets its own count. For example, this will be 1 and, oops, 1 and, the rest is going to get 2. This eighth note is going to be and. We have normal eighth notes, 3 and. That was a good 3. I like that one. 3 and here's 4. Then we need to draw a line. Okay, there's not an and. The quarter note gets all of that 4. Line. On the next one, you got to make sure you remember how to number this. So use the things that are above, like number 1 as a reference. You got to remember what a half note is. So use the previous pages as a reference. Don't just go through scribble. That's not trying your best. That's what matters the most in my classroom. I appreciate those of you who are willing to put in as much work as possible. Please, again, use the answers I give you. If I give you an answer on this video, then the answer should be right on your paper. Thanks, and bye.